I love the Municipal Garden of Funchal. It's so beautiful. So many flowering trees no matter what time of the year. And it's just such a peaceful setting right in the center of town, just a few blocks away from the sea and the, say, cathedral.
Like many public spaces, the garden has several statues and memorials.
A few months ago, I noticed a particular statue that really captured my interest. As the direct descendant of Portuguese crypto-Jews, I'm always have a intense fascination with anything related to my family and how my family got to be where they are. And this statue, either indirectly or directly, does a lot. I had never heard of João Fernandes Vieira until I came across this statue. That forced me to do a little investigation because Pernambuco, boom, 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 that's huge for me and my family.
Many do not know that Brazil was actually under Dutch control from 1630 to 1654, or at least northeast Brazil. The suddenly powerful Dutch West India Company had seized control of the Portuguese colonies so that it could profit from Brazil's booming sugarcane industry. The first leader of Dutch Brazil, John Maurice of Nassau, ushered in a brief golden age. He supported the arts, guaranteed property security for existing landowners, and perhaps most importantly, offered freedom of religion to everyone. This meant that the hundreds of secret Jews already living in Brazil could suddenly openly practice Judaism for the first time in more than 100 years. One of their first projects was to build the Kahal Sur Israel Synagogue in Recife in 1636. The first synagogue ever built in the Americas, it served the estimated 700 Portuguese Jews who lived in the city and the neighboring town of Olinda. These Jews were sugar mill owners, merchants, and unfortunately, slave traders.
So here is Sinagoga Kahal, Israel, the first synagogue in America, but it's a very, very interesting place.
Let's get back to the man behind this statue. Among those who prospered during this period was João Fernandes Vieira, who was born on Madeira in 1610 and arrived in Brazil possibly when he was as young as 10. By the 1630s, the formerly impoverished Vieira had become a wealthy plantation owner and an Olinda city council member. As someone with both political and economic power, Vieira became a central figure as Portuguese plantation owners started grumbling about the loan rates being charged by Dutch moneylenders. Those strong feelings soon became the basis for a rebellion after the departure of the colony's leader, Jean Maurice, in 1644. Vieira became one of the top lieutenants in the revolt, being named its supreme leader after the critical battles of Guarapes in 1648 and 1649. Forced to negotiate a peace, the Dutch formally ceded Brazil back to Portugal in 1654, but not before guaranteeing safe passage for the colony's Jews, who were terrified of the impending arrival of the Portuguese Inquisition. Almost all of Brazil's Jews set sail on more than a dozen ships, including a small group intended to go to Amsterdam. Along the way, however, they were purportedly boarded by pirates who captured many of the passengers and set 23 of them adrift in the Caribbean. Fortunately, they were fished out of the water by the St. Katrina, which was on its way to New Amsterdam, later to become New York City. The governor, Peter Stuyvesant, was an anti-Semite who wanted the Jews to be kicked out of his colony. But the Dutch West India Company, which paid Stuyvesant's salary, said no. If you want to learn more about this amazing voyage, I highly recommend you pick up a copy of this 1954 historical novel, Blessed is the Land by Louis Zara. It is a staple of our family library. So how does my family fit into this story? Well, for years we thought we were directly descended from at least one of those 23 Jews who arrived in New York. That turned out not to be the case.
Very soon after their arrival, the Jews built North America's first synagogue, Shearith, Israel. In 1737, my seventh grandfather, David Mendez Machado, was hired as its chazan, causing my family to move from Savannah, Georgia, to New York. It was at that synagogue more than 5 years ago that my family learned about Portugal offering citizenship to direct descendants of expelled Jews, which is why I am in Madeira today.
So yes, here I am back in Portugal. But it is thanks to a man whose statue in Funchal's Municipal Garden that my family had such a roundabout journey.